laughing at your friends.
There you go.
Alright, so I'm just gonna respond to the few arguments that she threw in and then go on to their main concerns and then why it should still be legalized. So she gave a statistic that in 2017, 218 patients were prescribed the medication through the Death with Dignity Act and only 129 died from it. This means that 218 people went through the entire process to get the prescription, only 129 went through with it. It's not saying that it was ineffective on the other half and that like we're giving pills to kill them and it's not working. It just means that they didn't go through with it. So even like after people get the prescription, they still have that choice to not do it. So I think that still argues in our favor. And then she acknowledged that the main reasons that people go through with this, she used the same sources as us, which was the Oregon Death with Dignity Act, the 2017 data summary, were that they weren't able to participate in activities that made life enjoyable, that was the 88.1%, the loss of autonomy and the choice of control over their body, 87.4%, and loss of dignity, 67.1%. Those are the main causes. Family burden is not on the top three. Now to go on to like the main disadvantages that I got from like both of their arguments, is that they're worried about family burden. The Oregon Health Authority says the law requires that the patient has to participate voluntarily on his or her own behalf. It's their choice, and the family can't push them into it, the doctor cannot push them into it, that's illegal. And then their other main concern that they kept going back to was the slippery slope to euthanasia. Euthanasia is illegal in every state in the United States, and that's not what we're talking about. The Oregon Health Authority even says like death with dignity is something different, euthanasia is illegal. I want to like explain that the Death with Dignity Act is well regulated to prevent euthanasia and prevent people from getting pushed in, or pushed into doing something they don't want to do. I'm going to read the law in the Death with Dignity Act. The law states that in order to participate, this is just to get into the act, a patient must be 18 years of age or older, a resident of Oregon, capable of making and communicating healthcare decisions for him or herself, and they have to be diagnosed with a terminal illness that will lead to death within 6 months. If they qualify for this, then they go on to the part where they have to get the prescription. Now to get the prescription, you have to have 2 oral requests to attending physician 15 days apart. So we kind of got mixed up and said taking the pill 15 days apart. We meant that you have to request to your doctor 15 days apart, which is like a lot of time to think about what you're doing for this prescription. You have to have a written request to an attending doctor, which is like the head honcho doctor, with 2 witnesses. One of the witnesses cannot be related to you. Third step, you attend an attending physician and a consulting physician from somewhere else, confirm that the diagnosis and prognosis of the person's illness is correct. So there's 2 doctors, one that's completely unrelated to the case, making sure that this person is actually going to die. Fourth, the patient has to be confirmed of making their own decisions about their health. And the 5th step, if the doctors think that a psychological exam is necessary, they take it. 6, the physician informs the patient of alternatives. They're legally bound to tell them alternatives. And 7, they request to notify the next of kin, which the person can do. This thing is it's like a well-oiled machine, it's well-regulated, and that's what we're trying to implement. We're not trying to implement something that's not well-regulated and it's going to lead to like doctors killing people. It's people choosing to have a prescription written for them and they have to jump through hurdles and hurdles and hurdles. Now, to summarize, I want to go back to our points that the significant claims are that people have a right to autonomy and choosing, they have a right to a compassionate end of life, they shouldn't be forced to suffer, and it's an individual liberty. And that's why we should legalize the Death with Dignity Act nationwide. And yeah, I'm done.